welcome to the I Love You Bet podcast. I'm Heather, and this is my sister,
Rian. Each week, we will revisit relics of our childhoods using our multiple master's degrees
to critically evaluate the crap that consumed our misspent youth. So join us,
sisters, latchkey kids, cuspers, and lazy feminists as we look back at our past to say, I love you, but...
I made a list on our hiatus
in my attempt to be funny. The funniest one was spending a lot of time planning and researching Dollywood, a trip to Dollywood, and, looking up accommodations and trying to find out how many benches they have. So how often I'd be able to sit down and, also talking back and forth with people pricing. So a lot of time planning a trip to Dollywood, a lot of time convincing our friends to also go to Dollywood and spend a ton of money, and then not actually going to Dollywood.
Yeah.
Our friends went and they all had a great time, and they were so grateful to you, especially for, convincing them to go to Dollywood. And and we're like, look, you had more fun because we didn't go. Because dear listeners, in the end, even though I would have managed, I think ultimately we decided that it was a lot of money to spend, and Elliot's his enjoyment of life is too unpredictable to spend $500+ We did something else instead. So that was... We went to, we did.
We went to a corn farm. It was great.
So a lot of time driving to the airport, back from the airport, to the mountains, back from the mountains, to the pumpkin patch, back from the pumpkin patch. Lots of very slow driving. Lots of games. Played a lot of games. So Elliot's new game in the car. His game where he likes to try to make us say nice things about him. Well, yeah, and when we say mean things about each other.
Things about him, too. He thinks that's very funny.
Which proves that he is 100% a Davis.
Yes, he likes that even better.
More than Wilson. So,
yes.
But to explain, it started with Elliot going, I'm mommy, and I hate my son. And then we all assume the voice or identity of someone else in the car and say similar things. And it was quite entertaining. So...
And the second time we played it, Elliot made us use the word but every single time we said it. And not in the I love you butt sense, but in the I love my butt sense.
Two-teed butt. Not the one-teed butt.
Double-teed butt.
Let's see. I spent a lot of time trying to convince a room of our friends that I was Judy Garland, or pretending in my head I was Judy Garland and playing some new game where I had to answer ridiculous questions in the vibe to give the vibe of Judy Garland so that they would then guess who I was. And it took a very long time. So I was way too good at that game, or way too bad at it. I can't remember, because all the games they like to play is where everybody wins, which my brain doesn't go there. I'm too competitive. Yeah.
Everybody wins or everybody loses, so... They do play Risk.
See, I want winner
Risk
takes all. I don't want
game,
I'm fine with everyone loses, but I don't understand because they were you're trying to give them clues in the hopes that they will guess. And I was like, well, I'm not clever enough to give them subtle, so they either have to be really hard clues or really easy clues. So, and then at one point it was just some of the stuff they were saying was but. It was fun. It was a fun game. And I'm sad because I was thinking about who in my life on the day-to-day I could play it with. And I'm like,
Yeah, that's actually one of the ways that I put that I wasted time, was that we had a friend vacation. And now I'm depressed by the lack of amazing people, because those are some amazing people. And I'm scheming about how to spend more time with them, either in the immediate or the nearish future.
Yeah, it was really fun. And as you know, I was a little apprehensive because, most of the people who were there were your friends. who graduated with you in either 96 or 97, were not terribly fond of me in 1996. Not that I was very enjoyable, so I don't blame them. But so there was some. So I did spend a lot of time trying to convince them that I was hilarious, and I'm pretty sure I succeeded. And
that was your real game for the whole weekend. Like everybody, we were playing multiple levels of games because Ryan's big game was winning over all my friends.
Are tough nuts to crack, but I did it. I cracked them. I cracked them all, either by my jokes or for food. But yes, it was definitely me putting on.
And I'm all being convinced that I am overreacting to Elliot. Like, you really,
I did tell
you didn't see it. And we didn't tell you the things that we don't talk about, but
I know, but I mean,
overreacting.
So he is.
He's an emotionally dysregulated child. And that's why we are working on
getting him into some OT so that we can help him better regulate those emotions. So there's nothing wrong with that. And it's the fact that I'm getting him an OT referral and I'm aware of it and we do our best means I'm a good parent.
It's true.
And I'm not putting that bucket down into the well of excuses. So I fucking hate Halloween.
Your well of excuses?
I hate Halloween. I've always hated Halloween my entire life. I have never liked Halloween, and I am sorry. I know people love it. I love it. In the last 10 years or so, 15 years, it's become a very popular holiday. Whereas I feel like when we were kids, it was like a day, and now it's got its own. Yes. And now it's got like its whole season and it's living its best life. And I love that for everybody. And I respect that. And I'm not going to I don't encroach my Christmas love before November 1st, but I hate Halloween. I hate Halloween. First, my hate of Halloween came as being a fat person because costumes are just hard. When you are a fat person growing up in the 80s and 90s, costumes are impossible. And yes, there are companies now, that are catering to it, and that's great. But so even if you can, then it's just a lot of fucking money. And when are you ever going to wear that costume again? Same with the kids. We have this fucking inflatable blue Slimer costume for LA now. I'm needs to go immediately to Goodwill. He's never going to wear this again, which I didn't pay for that, but so that's two reasons I hate Halloween. Third, I teach school now and they're insane and psycho. And I had to tell people to stop touching each other way too many times on Halloween. And then, trick-or-treating during the week, I remember before kids being like, what do you mean the city tells us when to trick or treat and what time to trick or treat and when it starts and when it ends? That's ridiculous. When I was a kid, the sun went down and we trick or treated until everybody stopped giving us candy and trick or treating was on. And now as a parent, who goes to other people's houses, with that energy, it was awful. I mean, Lexington still does it on Halloween because some of the counties do it the weekend before. That's the official trick or treat. But they have a time. It's 6 to 8. So they're we can't go. And I'm dude, it's dark outside. And but it was also raining. So that sucked. It wasn't cold. So that was good. But then Elliot absolutely lost his shit because this other kid showed up. And I fucking hate Halloween. I hate Halloween. But now it's November and I'm listening to Christmas music and it's finally a little bit cool and chilly in the mornings again. And I didn't even put decorations up this year. We put the witches in the yard and I had Ben get the tubs out and they've just been sitting there by the back door for a month. Because I was just I hate this holiday. I don't have the energy. There might be a day when I don't. I mean, it's a mixed bag.
You do realize that this is the coolest Halloween that you're going to have for the rest of your life.
Oh,
right?
Yeah, no, it's fine. I mean, the weather's so far down on the list of things that are frustrating me.
Do you want to hear about how I gone girled myself?
Sure, you faked your own death.
Sort of. So the other night I went to Aldi I went to acupuncture, then I went to Aldi, and then I went to Kroger, then I came home. And I started to unload the car and I got the like cold stuff in first. And then my neighbor Herbert was like, hey, do you have a minute? I have a vase I want to give you back. And I was like, sure. So I walk over there. Now I have left my trunk open, the door propped open, cold stuff on the counter, and a whole bunch of groceries in the back of the car. And I just walk over there. Well, of course, you know how Herbert is. It was not just a minute and it was not just give a face. Then it became like a whole conversation. And then Delta came home. And we were talking, and then I was like, wait a minute. I think I left ice cream on the counter. And then Mom calls, and I'm like, oh, shit, she thinks I got girled.
She was probably so panicked.
I looked like I totally got abducted. I don't think she'd been to the front of the house, so I think she was just like,
if it were me, I would have answered
daughter,
just to like freak her the fuck out. Or like answered him and like,
that's my Halloween prank.
You know.
Yeah, no, that would have been silly. You can't be doing these to putting brave people. It doesn't work. I almost got an agent. I didn't, but I'm gonna keep trying. So that's that, and that's all I got I could tell you tons of other things, but they're not funny or interesting. So
I finished the new season of The Diplomat last night, which I realized was probably causing some of my anxiety, but now it's done, so it's okay.
I still haven't watched. This is terrible, or Nobody Wants This. That one. I haven't watched that. I haven't watched Agatha All Along, and I haven't watched
Agatha All Along. Like the latest episode.
Very behind.
So I was trying to catch up this week, and then I realized I was 3 episodes behind. So I watched 2, and I was like, I have to go to bed. So then Friday, I started watching the most recent one, and I turned it off halfway because I was like, I'm kind of over this. Okay, yeah. I was like, I'm over this.
But the last one.
Also, there was the whole bit with her son and he's 6 and they're making up songs, and Elliot he made up a Halloween song on the way home, which was the only highlight of the whole Halloween bullshit. But he was making up this whole song.
Elliot made up a Halloween song, not this child on television. Did the child on television make up a Halloween song?
But
anyways,
made
up a Halloween
her son
song?
And he, spoiler, he dies. And so I was sitting here going,
I think I know why you don't want to watch that show. Hey, speaking of things you don't want to watch, I watched 2 movies. So sorry, friends.
The reason that we have been gone so long is because Heather chose movies that are not my favorite. And I even as an adult, just absolutely could not bring myself to watch the last one. Which was The Neverending Story. And then I was going to watch this week's one, but then when Heather realized that the election and everything happening was causing me to have extreme anxiety, she gave me a pass because I have puppet anxiety and she wanted me to watch Labyrinth. I have generalized anxiety, and I have puppet anxiety, and the other way I've been wasting time is taking stock of our friends mentally and their skills and abilities and assets. Because it's I feel the world, in case the world becomes an actual breakout room. So I used to think about going to a breakout room and being oh, well, this person's really smart and this person did. And that's what I'm doing with our friends right now. Should we need to go?
We need Joey.
Oh yeah, no, Joey's on the list.
We need Joey.
Why do you want Joey?
Good.
Yeah, he's a welder.
Because he's mechanical.
Yeah. So, oh no, I have a whole list. That's and part of it is who can I stand to be around, and then what does everyone bring to the table? So, yeah, because we started the conversation on the way back from North Carolina.
Lee has a big truck and he's got guns.
We started the conversation on the way back from Tennessee, and yes, anxiety.
Yeah. Today, brought to you by anxiety. So, what do you remember about Labyrinth that you didn't watch?
As I told you, I have actually watched it in the fairly recent past. I don't remember why. I think maybe I watched it at school one day or something like that. So I remember a lot. This was one that I had to just kind of suck it up because in high school, all my friends loved this movie. So I kind of just had to watch it until I was desensitized to it. So where it just causes like low level anxiety and not like high, level. So yeah, I mean, I remember most of the songs. Like I have the soundtrack on CD. I definitely have that. So the songs, bratty teenager who hates her baby brother. He comes and takes the baby. Like, I basically remember the entire plot. Yeah. What do you remember?
Here's what I wrote down.
That is one of our favorites. Yeah. Yeah.
I remember that Jennifer Connelly is gorgeous and has perfect breasts, which isn't really appropriate to say in this movie because she was 14 when they filmed it, but it is still true of her. So, oh well, too bad for her. I remember goblins and that crazy dog Muppet and the ballroom scene. And I remember a lot more, but those were just like the high level.
I remember you telling me that fox reminded you of one of your friends, and now I can't remember who. Oh, damn it.
I don't remember either. But and then I remember watching it again sometime in the 90s and realizing that it's kind of like a feminist masterpiece of a fairy tale because that line comes up and she's like, you have no power over me. And that's like the thing that breaks all the illusion and everything. It like gets her out of it, which is pretty incredible. So here's some notes from my rewatch of Labyrinth. The owl in the credits is the first photorealistic CGI in a feature film. So that's fun. I love that when she pulls her big floofy dress up, she's wearing jeans. She's like running in her jeans. Oh, that was that way. It's not fair. I was like, oh, Elliot, oh my God. No, it's not fair.
I heard a kid at Costco saying that yesterday.
And then I felt like, so a lot of this movie, she's really acting just against herself, because like it's puppets or whatever, or she's literally just talking to herself, talking out loud. And I feel like they could have given her a few more takes early on, especially. But I do felt like her worst acting was when she was being bratty. So I feel like she's not a bratty person. And so when she was trying to be bratty, it was really bad acting, which made it even more bratty.
Yeah.
And also she was 14.
Wow.
So, yeah, 14.
She seems so much older.
Yeah. That's why she's looked the same forever.
Oh.
I was reading various things. There were a bunch of rock stars they considered for the role of Jareth. And then I think Jim Henson's son convinced him it should be David Bowie. But before that, they were going to use regular actors. And one of them they considered was Kevin Kline. And I would like for the entire world to understand, despite the bulge, how much better of a movie this would have been if it had been Kevin Kline as Jareth. Because it would have been fucking amazing. It would have been so good.
What? You're not a fan of the David Bowie as Jareth?
No. And also all those songs that you had on CD, those songs are shit. In fact, I wrote somewhere, you know what stinks like the bog of eternal stench? This music. It's really bad.
Oh, Magic Dance is fun.
Yeah, sure.
That's really the only one. The rest of them are all very terrible.
Yes.
I mean, I guess the one with the puppets that take their heads off, like that's a kind of fun song, but it gets really old really fast.
Yeah, it's kind of terrifying. I am disappointed in myself for never having seen the Alice in Wonderland connections. Like how I not like some movies in Alice in Wonderland connection. And then of course I was like, of course Jareth has a statue of himself, but it was cool because it was actually 3 separate pieces. So it's kind of an illusion. Like if you looked at each of the pieces on their own, you wouldn't have realized it was him. They had to be together. So I thought that was cool. Didymus is the fox that rode the dog.
Yes.
That's his name. And he reminds me, I don't know who he reminds me of a real person, but character-wise, he reminds me of Flashheart from...
Reminds you of who?
Blackadder. Flashheart from Blackadder.
Oh.
Yeah, never mind.
It was like David or somebody. It was one of your friends in high school that you said it reminded you of.
It probably David. That sounds right.
Yeah.
It was very bouncy and...
Or maybe it was Dusty. It was either Dusty or David.
I don't know. Maybe it was both of them. Do you know what the ballroom scene song is basically a shittier version of? Think hard. It's a movie we've watched, and we both hated the song.
Like the whole scene or just the song?
And every other song in that movie was a good song. Huh?
It was a good song, but we hated it?
No. There is a movie musical that we love, and we love every song in it except for one song. It's a voiceover song. So the guy's not really singing it.
If it was a tree, what kind of tree would it be?
It was in Grease too.
Oh, Charade. Yeah.
Charade!
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, I see that. Yeah, that whole scene, it never made sense. Like, what is even happening right now? Like...
Oh, it's my favorite scene, but that song is terrible.
Is she supposed to be attracted to him?
I mean, definitely part of this is a coming of age thing.
Yeah.
And there's an Oedipal thing because it goes really fast, but at the beginning she has a scrapbook.
Yeah.
And so, the mom is her stepmom, not a real mom.
Yeah.
Well, a real mom, we're to understand, is an actress and was in a movie with David Bowie and potentially had an affair with him. And so you get the feeling that she might have been angry at him for taking her mom away, but then also kind of attracted to him as a teen idol.
Yeah, no, that's a whole backstory that nobody knows. Nobody.
Let me tell you, I went deep on Reddit last night, and a lot of people know that backstory.
Yeah, but not by just watching the movie.
Sure.
Yeah, nobody watched the movie and was like, "Oh, girl."
No, apparently people pause it because it has headlines.
Huh. Well, I mean, that makes me feel a little bit better, and that makes a lot more sense.
Yes. There are layers to Labyrinth. The best quote that I found on Reddit about Labyrinth was on a thread about whether or not to show this to your kids. And somebody said of Bowie, his tight pants confused me.
Yeah, that was a choice.
Yep.
Not necessarily a good one.
I don't know. I think it was pretty good.
Did you find anything on was David Bowie all in? When they asked him, was he yeah, or did he take some convincing or anything?
No, I think he was pretty much all in. He was for it.
Yeah, great musician, not a great actor. Not a great actor.
No, but he had done some acting before. He was in The Hunger and he was in some other stuff.
Oh yeah, no, I know, but not a great actor.
Yeah. The real reason that I gave you a pass on this movie is because of the trash goblin.
Yeah, that's usually the point in the movie where I can't finish watching it. Yeah, also because I kind of feel like that right now with my house.
And then there's Jareth, the gaslighting piece of shit. And here's some great quotes at the end. Just let me rule you and you can have everything you want. Fear me, love me, and I will be your slave. And then she says you have no power over me and everything breaks and it's great.
I wonder what the correlation between women who love 50 Shades of Grey, but also love this movie as a child, if there's a link there between.
There was actually somebody on that same Reddit thread who was yeah, a few years ago, I got into a really abusive relationship with a rich older man. And at one point, I literally was oh, no, you have no power over me. She was playing out the movie in her head, realizing that she was in this toxic relationship. She used the movie to get out of it. So, yeah.
Well, that's good.
Wait, what?
That's good.
Yeah, it is good. Yeah. And then one last note about the 80s. When the baby's back in his crib, and I didn't realize it at first, but I was kind of also doing other things. He had a nice little pillow under his head.
No
pillows for babies.
No pillows for babies. He was a cute baby, though.
He was a cute baby. His name was supposed to be something else, but baby's actual name was Toby, and he wouldn't respond to anything else, so they had to call him Toby.
I'm not going to make a Roots reference because that would be wildly inappropriate.
And a lot of people, it was 50-50, but most people didn't like it. And Jim Henson apparently got very depressed after this came out. But one of the things, and I thought this was important, like, it's just ugly. Except for the ballroom scene. The ballroom scene is beautiful, but most of this movie is ugly. And it's like, if you're going to spend all this time and effort and everything else, and like Fraggle Rock was the same, and like Dark Crystal, like it's also just like, like why? Like,
it was a Muppet Christmas Carol.
Like, you can have some things that are ugly to highlight, but the whole look doesn't have to be ugly. There's no reason for it. Like, I don't. Yeah. So, by contrast, I then watched The Neverending Story. What do you remember about The Neverending Story, Ryan?
Too much trauma.
Let me tell you something.
I remember that kid eating that entire apple. And even as a child, I'm like, who eats the core of apples? Like, he eats the whole apple. And I was like, what? Like, who eats the whole apple core and everything?
Especially because there's cyanide in the seeds. You shouldn't be eating that.
I didn't even know about that. But even as a kid, I was like, well, this kid's fucked up. Like, should have known from then on. Like, let's see, Falkor. I remember Falkor. I mean, honestly, like, if it weren't for the horse scene, I think I would be okay with this movie.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I was going to say, you really should be, because as far as, like, puppets and everything goes, like...
No, it's nothing. It's just the horse. Like, it's the horse scene. Like, that kid did a phenomenal job acting.
Yeah.
And, like, that horse just, like, because, like, even the horse was acting, like, to me. Like, the horse is just doing a great job of being like, I don't care that I'm dying. I don't give a fuck. Like giving up. Like, especially, there's no way I could watch that scene right now and be okay. Like, there's no way. And I know the horse,
because the whole theme of, like, the nothing, and then, like, the scary ass werewolf at the end explaining about the nothing and all that.
I mean, there's just...
And, like, hello, everyone. Hello. If you watched this as a child and you haven't voted, go watch it again. It's time to relearn the lesson of what happens when you give up hope. Your childhood was trying to teach you something very important.
I mean, and I think, too, because everyone's like, oh, this generation and, you know, with their gentle parenting and da-da-da. And I'm like, I get why. Because, like... There was no gentle parenting. Like, I know Ben gets frustrated with me sometimes because I'm very reticent into what Elliot watches.
Yeah.
And that's, like, our parents were not at all reticent.
Honestly, though, I think if you guys could sit with him and watch this, I think he would really love this movie.
Yeah.
Because I think he would see a lot of himself in Bastian.
Yeah.
And, like, especially because his dad is like, you need to, like... pull your bootstraps up, and, like, you have a job to do, and, like, your mom died, but get over it. It's like, so he's like, he has this whole lecture from his dad, and then he gets chased by the bullies, and then he gets the book from the creepiest dude ever, and then he goes and he starts reading the book, and the book is trying to get him to participate, and he's like, no, I have a job to do. I have to, like, keep my bootstraps on. It's like, no, your job is to be a little kid, man. Like, that's your job. Like, I just feel like Elliot would really, really identify with Bastian. So, there are worse things that he could watch. I'll tell you that for sure.
There are worse. And then, you know, I mean, it's not like he watches, you know, like Beetlejuice.
Yeah. I remember a lot in recent years, Bastian reading a book under covers during a thunderstorm is a vibe, and it's a vibe that I identify with.
Yeah.
That is a mood that I like to consider myself a part of. I didn't remember that there was nudity, which was one of the warnings at the top when it was like smoking, nudity, whatever. And I was like, what? And then I was like, okay. I didn't know that two Burns produced this. Two guy first name Byrne.
Wait, hold on. When was there nudity?
Just wait, it'll come back.
Oh.
So then I was like, oh, Wolfgang Petersen. Who's he? See, he made Das Boot. I also forgot that Bastian really has that that Danny Torrance look.
Yes, like that's what I keep seeing in my head, like because he's got that same like haircut.
Mm-hmm. Bastian's dad really has that 80s traumatic parenting down, as we just discovered.
Yes.
I thought it was an Ouroboros on the cover, and then later I was like, oh, that's not an Ouroboros. It has 2 snake heads. Never mind. Oh, the idea of the nothing is terrifying. And then wait, what?
What's an Ouroboros?
Oh, an Ouroboros is when it's the snake eating its own tail.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I thought that's what it was, but it was 2 snakes intertwined, which they gave a name to, but it's not anything that shows up anywhere else. The nothing is a terrible idea, a terrifying idea. Did you hear Bill talking about the internet monster called Breaking News?
No.
Oh, shit. Hold on. I'm going to look it up.
Oh, Lord. The nothing reminds me of, so we've been reading, he likes all the Dr. Seuss books that we have. It reminds me of the, what's that one that everyone gets kids for graduation that I love,
The Giving Tree?
Huh? No, not the Giving Tree. We've been reading The Giving Tree, but the one that's like, today you're off on your way, like you'll do great things. But there's one about the waiting place and, like everyone's just waiting and don't get stuck in the waiting place. Oh, the places you'll go.
Breaking News is an unnerving creation from horror artist Trevor Henderson. His iconic twisted appearance, menacing size, and overall mystery has led him to become one of Trevor's most popular giants next to Wandering Faith. Terrifyingly tall creature, vaguely humanoid, jet black skin, blah, blah, blah. Arms are hairless, covered with strangely colored skin. The arms reach all the way to the ground, covering most of its entire body.
What is this? I'm very confused.
It's a monster called Breaking News.
Okay. Is it part of this whole siren head thing that their kid was super into?
I have no idea.
Okay, because it sounds similar to that in what you're describing.
Yes. Hold on.
So it's a fake, like a cartoon?
It's a creature that people then turn into other things. So they could make an internet video about it. They could tell a story about it. They could do a comic. Like, it's just like a creation.
I'm very confused.
Ugh. Fucking fandom shit sucks. Give me a Wikipedia on it. Give me something helpful. This is not helpful. I don't care what it looks like. I want to talk about what it is. It's something about its behavior, like the fact that it's called Breaking News, and I can't find it, but there was some way that Bill was just like, he's so much better at digesting this and spitting it back out. But basically it's something where like sometimes you can see it and sometimes you can't, but it's like kind of always following behind you, but you can't always see it. And I just love that idea of like breaking news, right? Like breaking news is this concept of like, it's always there, like it never stops. And it's like, but it becomes so, it's like, how can it be breaking news if it's always there? Yeah. Like if everything is breaking news and nothing is breaking news, like, so like you start to ignore it because it's there all the time. So you're not paying attention to it. So I don't understand why these, I find these internet sites incredibly annoying because that is an interesting fact and it doesn't appear on here at all. It's like, this is what it looks like. Why I had to give a shit what it looks like. Yeah. That is fucking terrifying.
It was like why I had to delete the Associated Press app from my phone yesterday.
Yes, exactly, because it was breaking news.
Because when it's like 10,000 North Korean troops in Russia, like fuck, it's all gonna die.
Get out of Russia! What are you doing in Russia? Get out of there.
Going to Russia to help them fight Ukraine. Or 30,000, not 10,000, but yeah.
Oh, God. Okay. Steven Spielberg helped edit The Neverending Story, and that's probably, it's probably a better film for it. I'm just going to say that. I mean, Wolfgang Peterson did Das Boot, but still. The scene where we meet Atreyu is kind of like a Doctor Who episode. So they're in, like, the Empress's tower or whatever, and, like, all the people have gathered, and some of them have 3 faces, and some of them have 2 faces, and some of them made out of rocks and some of them are monkeys or whatever. There's like a fucking elephant there. There's like all these, and they're all just like standing there like, hello, we are here gathered at the place. And there's the guy that's like talking with the white beard and he's like, blah, blah, blah. And the Empress says that we need this thing and whatever. And I'm like, oh, it's like a Doctor Who. This is not a very dynamic scene, but that's okay. But the green-eyed werewolf is not cute. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah.
And also, oh shit, they get to the Swamp of Sadness way too early in this movie. Like, happens fast, which I'm kind of glad about because then you kind of have time to get over it a little bit. Like, I feel like if it had come later, you wouldn't have been able to get through the film. Like, you just would have been like, nope, I'm done. I'm there. I'm with you. I give up.
So the nothing is like what? Like apathy? Like where
The nothing is apathy. It's people giving up hope.
Yeah.
And then they talk about the creature that's running the nothing, or that's like in charge of the nothing.
Yeah.
And that their goal is to take control, because people without hope are easy to control. And that whoever has control has power.
Yeah. Well, and that's what like makes me mad. Like, not again to, I mean, whatever, but like I was telling you too, like why I had to like obviously I'm going to vote for Kamala Harris, but like I'm so tired of her campaign.
Yeah.
Because I want that Obama, like I want hope. Like nothing is giving me hope right now.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the only thing giving me hope is like the long lines for early voting, but like who even knows who those people are voting for? But like her campaign, like everything is about like it just all become, you know, and but
that's also just what's being advertised to you, right?
I mean, but even in her emails, like the emails that I'm getting asking are all about like, help me fight him. Like, I don't know, like, are you seeing stuff of hers that's like hopeful? Like, here's what I'm going to do.
I mean, I think Tim Waltz is in charge of the hope part.
I mean, I do like his stuff
people
where he's
are
like, donate and I'll give you my grandma's ginger snap recipe. Like,
yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's hope, right? That's the fun, like, I would say that our lizard brains are more motivated by fear. So definitely at the end of the campaign, that's what they're going to do. They're going to push that fear button as much as they can.
Yeah. But that's just, you know, like,
I have actually been reading a lot of things about, like, you know, I'm endorsing Kamala Harris, even though I understand that she's promoting genocide, and here's why.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad that kind of stuff is finally coming out. I wish it had come out earlier.
Yeah. Well,
but,
like, you know, did I tell you I had that conversation with a friend of mine who was like, I just can't vote for her. And like, you know, that's fine. Leave it blank, you know, and she's like, it's Kentucky. It's not going to matter anyways. And then she texted me the other day and was like, you know, I thought about it and talked about it. And I am because of, you know, da 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 da. So it's like, cool. But like, I'm not going to like yell it. You know what I mean? Like, don't if you like, leave it blank. Like, little known fact, you can leave that box blank and your ballot will still be counted for everything else.
I mean, the thing is, it's like, I don't know. It doesn't matter.
I mean, I guess it's just like you go back and you think about like Obama's campaign. And I guess I'm like, what would Obama be? If it was Obama against this awful person, how would he be campaigning? And would it be the same?
It would always be hope with him. It always is. It's don't move.
And that's what I guess that's what I miss. Like, I want the hope.
But also, I think he didn't have to go against Trump. I mean, it's a different.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, if it was, you know, is it because of the stakes? Right.
It would be interesting to see what he's saying about it, if he's saying anything now.
Yeah.
Because he probably is. I'm assuming he's saying something.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Like, he and Michelle both come out, you know, and support it. But that may be what I need to look up. And I have to say this. She reminds me so much of Carmen.
Oh, yeah.
Like her mannerisms and the way she like interacts, and maybe not now, but like when we first kind of met Carmen, like very similar poise and whatever. So poise, not poison.
The way she supports the prison systems, you know, all that.
I did see one where there were some guys like sitting around talking to her and they're like, we need you to clarify your stance on criminal justice. And she was like, you know, she is for legalizing, you know, marijuana on the national level and, you know, some stuff like that. But yeah, she's anyway. And
expunging and releasing?
I'm hoping, yeah, like that would be.
She didn't say that?
I don't know if Ben would have a job if they did that.
He can find another job.
Yes, I know.
There's always other jobs.
Oh, I'm not saying that as a way of like, no, we need to keep people in prison so that my person has a job. Like, that was not what that point was like. But that would be other people's argument.
So, getting away from politics.
I'm sorry.
I sneeze like the ancient one. That turtle he goes and sees.
I remember.
He has to like hold on to the tree because he's allergic to youth. So he was like trying to get rid of him. Yeah, so, like hold on to the tree, not to get knocked over. That's exactly how I sneeze. And then we meet Falkor. What?
You sneeze like an old man. Like, it's insane.
I do. It's true. I sneeze like an old man. I'm going to get my Tinder profile back up. That'll be my byline. I sneeze like an old man.
I was in an old soup at the Y yesterday in the hot tub because it was like me and 6 old men. I was like, oh, I don't want to be in here.
Old man soup.
I was like, I'm outnumbered. Outmanned.
Falkor shows up, Parade, the luck dragon. We all love Falkor.
Yeah, except for those things on his back. Like when they're
okay, the things on his back are pearls, and they're not as scary when you watch them in high def.
Okay, because like they look like weird blister things.
They don't look like blisters. And also, I think I recognized this in childhood and appreciate even more now. The way that they made his body move when he was breathing is like magic. Like, it looks so realistic, the way that he breathes when he's sleeping and he's got a tray in his arms.
I remember that. Yeah.
Like, so gorgeous. Oh, I figured out what the nudity was. The Southern Oracle, those statues.
Oh.
They got them titties.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, but they weren't like, they were statues. Like, come on. Mm-hmm. Was this on Disney? What did you watch it on?
Amazon. I think I watched them both on Amazon.
Oh, okay.
And then after he breaks through and gets to the glowing, then there's glowing titties. So maybe it was because there was double titties and then quadruple titties. And then the second pair were glowing. They were like, nudity. You've crossed the line.
One pair of statue titties. We'll let that slide. But glowing titties, no. That's going to get you that PG-13 rating.
I then was like, oh, Gmork is telling our truth. He's the scary werewolf that was like, and when you give up hope, you're easy to control, and whoever has control has power. I'm gonna kill you. And then there's a terrible wig on Atreyu's stunt double. Like of all the wigs we've seen that are bad wigs, this is a really, really bad wig. And second to last note, the Empress is in her Georgia O'Keeffe enclosure at the end. And the door lifts up behind her and it's got like a clitoris on it. Like, it's like,
maybe that was also part of the top.
Like, close that pussy back up. And I then wrote, I think Elliot would love this movie. So,
I mean, the Empress is kind of useless, isn't she? Like,
well, she can't really do anything except be named. I mean, it's problematic.
Okay, because she's just like, everybody else do something. I'm just going to sit here and cry in my little vagina kingdom.
But she's also been there since all stories began. And she's the only one who has direct contact with Bastian to convince him to do the thing. So.
She must be tired.
Yeah.
Oh, girl.
Oh, wait, I forgot an important note. Hold on.
Oh, no.
I must have gotten mad. I said, I think it's kind of a precursor or maybe even a response to video games. So Atreyu is Bastian's avatar who can do things that Bastian fears. Right? Like Bastian's afraid to fight. Huh?
When did this come out?
This was written, the book was written in like the late 70s. So there would have been video games, not to this level.
I was going to say like fucking Pong. Like there were no avatars.
Yeah, but I think that there were, like science fiction had kind of written about it.
Because like what was the first like avatar video game? Like Mario?
I'm not going to do video game history. This is not a video game podcast, bitch, and it never will be. Ever.
How much your friends when I told them that like when we play Trivial Pursuit, Orange becomes wild? They were so mad. They were like, "Why don't you just know about sports?" I'm like, who cares?
Who cares about sports?
Who cares?
Sports are dumb.
Who cares about your sports? Like, do you know about movies? Probably, but whatever.
Some of them, yes.
Like, sorry, I'll know everything about everything. Like,
yeah, it is. It's really annoying. But they were so mad because they like read that thing about like kids at Columbia or wherever that don't know they've never read a full book.
Oh,
ever.
I was talking about that. Yeah. Like,
yeah. And then I was like, yeah, we're all mad because we're like, I read books for fun.
yeah, no, I was like, which to counter that, the kids in my high school read books. So, I mean, not all
they
of
actually
them,
have to read
but they
books.
are assigned. Because like this article was saying that like they weren't even being assigned books to read. Like, not that they weren't just doing it.
Yes.
Yeah. Because like I didn't read books in high school, but I took AP English and they were assigned. I just only read like 2 of them from start to finish.
What books did you read for fun? Because you know how like every 6 weeks you had to like do an extra one or whatever? What did you do?
I don't think I did. I don't remember.
You didn't have to do like an extra book and then talk to Doc Smith about it one-on-one?
No, I never talked to Doc Smith one-on-one. I never had a conversation in my life with that. Well, she was Doc Edwards by the time I had her, but yeah. So she may have like been like meh in her losing her mind stage at that point, like not as intense. But no, I never had a one-on-one conversation with that woman in my life, even though I was in her class. Yeah. Yeah.
I wonder if she just made us do it because she liked talking to us.
Maybe. I remember talking to Allie because I had Allie was in that class with me and a couple other people. And then Dustin would show up sometimes and make fun of it. But anyways, but yeah, no, the only books I remember reading in high school and finishing were Brave New World and A Clockwork Orange. A Clockwork Orange I read on my own. That's one I read on my own. And then probably Still Life with Woodpecker I read on my own for that project. But those are the only ones I remember. Like most of the ones I'd start, but I never finished. So, but yeah,
I don't remember all the ones I did. I know I did
get a C.
I know I did The Handmaid's Tale for sure.
Yeah,
and I think Eric and I both read Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf. And then we like went into each other's class and acted one of the scenes, and that was like our bonus. Here, we're acting.
Yeah, I think y'all's generation was when after y'all is when everybody started getting stupider. Because like hanging out with those people with you all and then going back and trying to teach like now high schoolers, I'm like, God damn it. There's just...
I do think we were a very special bubble because I feel bad because I know I have other pockets of friends who actually listen to this podcast, unlike this group of people that I'm like, how do I spend more time with this group of people? Listen, y'all, I don't want you to feel bad. You're wonderful people and I enjoy you very much. And you are smart and you are funny. This is like a nostalgia pocket of people that I cannot describe to you. Like, it's like a little magic. Like, it's, you know. And if you can't hold on to it too hard, because it will never come back. So it's like you just have to like tap into it just a little bit and not put too much pressure on, or it will all break apart.
But it was different. Like it was just different. Like high school. I mean, that's how life is. Like generations and all of that. But
well, we got one more Fairytale Fall movie to go. I think you'll be able to handle it. What?
Is it one I'm actually going to watch?
I think you can handle it, yes. It is Sleeping Beauty.
There's a Sleeping Beauty right there.
Hello, Cricket the cat.
Look at that Sleeping Beauty.
Aww.
Which version of Sleep? Like the cartoon?
The cartoon one, yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, I can watch that. We've watched that.
Okay. Thank you. That's it for this episode of I Love You But. Join us hopefully next week when we discuss Sleeping Beauty. What made you laugh? What made you cringe? Was it the bulge? Was it the glowing titties? What did we forget? And what should we talk about in future episodes? We want to know your thoughts. Find us on Instagram and Threads at I Love You But Pod, or email us at iloveyoubutpod@gmail.com. Listener email and comments may turn up in future episodes. Be sure to rate, review, follow, subscribe, whatever. I Love You But wherever you get your podcasts. It makes a huge difference. And on weeks where we skip, it'll remind you that we have a new episode out. So let the computer do your reminding. Don't waste your brain cells on that. Thank you for listening. I'm Heather.
I'm Ryan. And we wish you lots and lots of conditional love. And hopefully the nothing doesn't get us, and we see you next week.
That's right. Boo to the nothing.
Don't let the nothing get you down.